This week on the Tiger Basketball Report, we'll discuss the results of the Tigers' latest matchups against the UNC Wilmington Seahawks and the Tribe of William and Mary. Later, we'll look ahead to the Tigers' final game of the year against the Blue Hens of Delaware before heading into the CAA Championship Tournament. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Basketball Report begins now. Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome to the Towson Sports Network studio for another edition of the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas. The Tigers played their second-to-last home game this past weekend, where they took on the Seahawks of UNC Wilmington. The Tigers were down 9 in the second half, but eventually tied the game, but could not get over the top as the Seahawks ended up winning 73-69. Let's take a look at the highlights of the game against UNCW.
Rebound, Gavrilovic. Alex gets it to Keith. Keith's going to drive. Keith lays it up. No good. Tap is up and in by Alex Gavrilovic. 13-11. Feeds it up top to Foster. Couldn't get to it. Sproul does. Sproul going to go in uncontested for a slam dunk. 18-12. Davis the rebound. He'll bring it up over midcourt himself. Dribbling inside the three-point line. Gets stripped from behind into the hands of Jackson. 2-on-1 break. Feeds Pugh. Pugh drives, lays it up and scores. Timeout, Pat Skerry. 27-19. That's the biggest lead of the game. So Josh Ivory has it in the backcourt. Feeds it in to Keith. Drives the lane, goes up. He's fouled. No call. Morcell gets the rebound, lays it in. He's got 11. 32-30. Tigers down 2. 4. Going to drive. Dishes it out to the right to Keith, and it's intercepted by Sproul. Ahead to Pugh. Lays it up, and it's blocked by Ivory. Great way to end the half for the Tigers as Ivory came in and just swatted away what would have been an easy layup by Malik Pugh. And he'll make a move back towards the basket. Lays it up and in. He had no angle. How he got that home, I don't know. 8 on the shot clock. 4 with an NBA 3. Good. McGlynn with his first points of the game, and the Tigers are down 6, 45-39. Starts forward. Tries to pass it to Davis, and he gave it right to Jackson. Jackson going to drive. Jackson lays it up and in. Looking, bounces it out to Morcell. Mike's going to drive. Mike lost control of the ball. Still got it back. Put it through. Scored, and it's fouled. Try to make it a 4-point game. Missed it. Davis, the rebound. Lays it up and in. A 4-point play for the Tigers. They've cut it to 3. John with 11 points and 6 rebounds. Tigers with a chance to take the lead. 5:02 to go. Towson trails by 1. McGlynn drives. 4. Lays it up and scores. 8 points for 4. Going to dribble inside the three-point line to Sproul. Drives the baseline left. Comes in, puts up the shot and scores. 63-61. Sproul with 22. Comes to the top of the key. Going to drive. Take it to the basket. Scores, and he's fouled. John going to drive. John takes it, lays it home, and a timeout by Pat Skerry with 4 seconds left in the game. Throws a rocket to Davis over to Hawkins. Hawkins going to launch a 30-footer. No good. And the Tigers fall 73-69 to UNCW.
The Tigers were led by freshman Mike Morcell, who had a career-high 19 points. For McGlynn kept the game close, scoring all 12 of his points in the second half. And joining me today is the head coach of the Tigers, Pat Skerry. And Coach, you go back to that Wilmington game, and this is a team that came in here battling for first place in the CAA. The game meant everything to them. They all mean everything to everyone, but they really had something extra to play for to stay in first place. And you guys took them down to the wire again. It's just been a case of not being able to get over that hump.
Yeah, I didn't think we played great. They certainly had a lot to do with it. You know, they're a tough team to guard because of their ability to drive it at so many spots on the floor, and the kid Sproul is a nightmare of a matchup. But it was funny because all of a sudden we got back in it. We took the lead with maybe like 4 to go or just on the floor. I thought we were going to hold them off, but Sproul throwing a couple big daggers, and then Ponder hit a big 3. And I got to give their veterans a lot of credit. Those guys have done a really good job, and of course they did a great job at the foul line to hold us off. We've had two kind of wire jobs with them. We haven't been able to get over the top. Maybe we will get fortunate enough to see them again.
Yeah, they beat you by 4 down there, beat you by 4 here. So they were both tight battles. Mike Morcell, and he did what Hofstra was doing to you last week to UNC Wilmington. He was driving to the basket, getting fouled, and going to the foul line. He went 9 of 10 from the free throw line.
Yeah, he's playing well. Certainly at a all rookie level. I've said many times, I think he has a really, really high ceiling. We're going to him late game because he's capable of making plays, shooting it, getting fouled, driving it, and he did that late in their game. I think the impressive thing was he did it against an all-conference kid in Freddie Jackson, who's had a really good year. But Mike's played well. The last 2/3 of conference play, he's played at a very high level.
And then you look at Freddie Jackson, and you guys kind of contained him. He was their leading scorer coming into the ball game, but Sproul, who was their second leading scorer, hurt you with a 24.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, they're both, in my opinion, up on the second team all-conference, and they might have 4 guys. Williams and Ponder could end up being third team guys. So they're not deep, but they got enough, and they've Kevin Keats has done a great job with them. But they've really resurrected a lot of their older guys, and they've had super years, and they've done the best job in the league at winning close games.
You've had a lot of them. They've had a lot of them, and again, yours haven't gone the way you've wanted them to go, and it seems like one area gets better and another area kind of falls. Like the free throw shooting against UNCW was very, very good, which had hurt you before. But then at the same time, Wilmington was able to get to the basket and score, which you hadn't really allowed much of previously in the season.
I think it's a product of experience. When I stay, it's frustrating because I think the effort's been really good, and the guys are playing hard, and they're working. We've got talent. I think the tough thing is we haven't figured out how to win those type of games. And when you step away from it, like I'll use Mike Morcell as an example. We got Mike Morcell at Drexel, we lose a close one. We go to Mike Morcell late game for the last possession. And it doesn't work out, and then he's guarding Damian Lee, who's 1A in the league as player of the year. Play William and Mary, get down, you got Mike Morcell guarding Marcus Stewart, the best player in the league. He went to Eddie Keith late at Wilmington against Freddie Jackson. So part of it's a product of having a lot of new guys, young guys, and there's no experience that replicates game experience till you go through it. It's try to get them to stay the course. The guys want to win, and they've been battling even every day in practice. You would like to see us have a little bit more good fortune as opposed to misfortune in late game situations.
Well, on the positive side, Mike Morcell did hit that game winner against Elon with 1.6 seconds left.
He did, yeah. No, it was a big shot. That stuff carries over. We were 10 for 25 from the foul line, so we would have liked to maybe separate a little bit earlier in that one.
All right, when we come back, the Tigers also had a game this past week against William and Mary, and Tiger basketball report with head coach Pat Skerry. Let's start over.
Whenever you're ready.
We have come to our first break. When we come back, we'll discuss the results of the Tigers' latest game against William and Mary. The Tiger basketball report with head coach Pat Skerry returns right after these words.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
He got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Right, sign that, sign that. Yeah!
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Woo!
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
When cold
refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas. The Tigers look to bounce back on the road against William & Mary on Wednesday night after a tough loss to the Seahawks. Unfortunately, the Tribe jumped ahead early, taking advantage of Towson's slow start without looking back, beating the Tigers 65-50. Marcus Thornton and Terry Tarpey led the way for the Tribe with 24 and 23 points respectively. Fort McGlynn led the Tigers with 13 points. And Coach, much like the game against Wilmington, Fort didn't score in the first half, but came on strong in the second half. Is there any rhyme or reason to that?
If we knew, we would rectify it. We need him to score. It's I think somewhat of a trademark of our group has been our inconsistency and in personnel and performance at times. So no, we don't know why.
All right, this William & Mary game was. You were really walking into a lion's den here because they had a very big crowd. Students came out in force. Marcus Thornton was going to set the William & Mary all-time scoring record, which was the oldest Division I scoring record left in the country. 65 years old was that record. And they were pumped. I mean, the crowd was pumped. But you guys came out and hit your first 5 of 7 shots, and then something that's just inexplicable. You didn't make a basket the last 17-10 of the half, but it wasn't like they were doing a tremendous job guarding you. I can't mention how many balls seem to go 3/4 of the way down and come out.
Yeah, it's a funny game. I mean, they're good. They're really good on offense. And it was with the snow coming in, they canceled classes, so like every student came out. So it was a great atmosphere. And Thornton, in my opinion, Thornton is the most talented guy since I've gotten to Towson to go through the league. Now, a lot of Tiger fans say, well, what about Benjamin? I didn't say I'd take him before Benjamin. Jarrell had a unique ability to impose his will on the game on both ends. But this kid, I think, is a pro. He came in locked in, ready. Yeah, we started out well, and then we missed like 26, 27 shots in a row, which I've never seen happen. I've talked to a couple of my colleagues, they've never seen it happen. We got good shots at the rim from 3. We just didn't make a shot. So obviously we were down at the half, and we actually guarded well.
You're only down 13.
Yeah,
you only gave up 28 points.
No, we guarded well. We held them to 40%, and they're really good. And then obviously we didn't guard as well in the second half, and obviously we started scoring. I don't know how we got the game back to 5. I have no idea, based on how poorly we shot the ball. And that's a tough team. You got to keep up with them to beat them. Not maybe to their level, but you got to keep up with them somewhat on offense. And obviously we had too long of a drought. So we cut it to 5, and then Thornton threw in 2 back-to-back dagger threes. One was a spectacular shot off a hedge, and we chased him out. We doubled it. And he still made the shot. He does that. And it's funny. I kind of feel like when we play against him, he makes we make him make tough shots. But to his credit, he's capable of doing that. I'm sending him a graduation gift. And I'm glad he's a senior. Although maybe we'll get another shot at them as well.
And to your team's credit, you were down 23 points with less than 15 minutes to go in the game. And you guys never quit battling, and you got it to 5 points. And as you say, Marcus Thornton hit 2 straight threes that were well covered to get it back up to 11, which basically ended the ball game. But that had to encourage you, the fact that this team never quit.
Yeah, no, I think it's a credit to the kids. They're talented, they're tough, they play hard. We talked to them about it today. We went through some stuff. Some shot selection, and not that there weren't a lot of terrible ones, but some shot selection, showed a couple turnovers. Then we showed some good and bad defense, and really said, if you miss that many shots, you're not going to win a game, especially against a good club, and they're a good club. So that won't happen again. Let's just move on and get ready for the next one.
We have to take another break. The Tiger Basketball Report with head coach Pat Skerry continues right after these words.
Can we get a little help? We've got Pepsi. What if we just take like 15 minutes?
Halfway through the game?
They got Pepsi. So what do we call that?
Halftime.
I like it.
Even the first halftime wasn't halftime without Pepsi. See Katy Perry live in the Pepsi Super Bowl 49 halftime show.
We're back. The CAA Men's Basketball Championship returns to Baltimore, bringing March Madness to Charm City, March 6th through 9th at Baltimore's Royal Farms Arena. Tickets on sale now. This is CAA Hoops. The road starts here.
When cold refreshment calls, Coors Light answers. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Mariner Finance is a consumer finance company, so we offer personal loans.
Mariner Finance is a great place to work. It's a great thing for anyone with the entrepreneurial spirit.
Everybody in every office has an opportunity to achieve and grow.
Be your own leader. Be a leader amongst the fellow coworkers in your office.
The training and development that we do at Mariner Finance is one-on-one. Someone who has been there, done it, experienced it.
There is no better feeling.
Learn with us.
Grow with us.
Run with us.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas. The Tigers play their final regular season game here at CQ Arena this Saturday before they head off for the CAA tournament presented by Under Armour. When the Tigers take on the Blue Hens of Delaware this Saturday, they will take on a team that they lost to in overtime, 67-64 up in Newark. John Davis had a double-double in that ball game. So, Coach, you've got the Blue Hens, a team that could be fighting for a very important 6th seed in the CAA tournament. So they're going to come in motivated, as you know. But you guys want to finish this regular season at home with a win and get back at those Blue Hens that beat you in overtime up in Newark.
Yeah, it'll be a war. They've played well in conference. Credit to Monte Ross and his staff. They get a good club. They've had some unbelievable wins and some head-scratching losses, like a lot of teams in the league. I think when we watch them first, we got to do a good job in transition. The kid Holden, I think is good a rookie as there is in the league. So you keep him out of transition and off the foul line. Got to take away the three-point shot with Kyle Anderson. He's had an all-conference season as a senior. I think he surprised a lot of people. 15 a game is a heck of a senior year. And then we got to have a better effort on the glass than we had down there. They out-rebounded us by like 2 or 3 there. We kind of coughed that thing up late. We had a 5-point lead with like 2.5 to go and did a couple inexplicable things. So our guys are excited about it, and we've got 2 good seniors, as good of human beings as you could find, and Jamel Flash and Alex, and guys will be pumped up to play, and it's Delaware, so we better be ready to play.
You talk about Jamel, and he's one of those kids that people don't really think about, because he has been, for the most part, he's been on the end of the bench. He's gotten some playing time, more playing time this year than he has in the past. But him and I had a brief conversation the other day, and he looked at me and he told me, he says, he wouldn't trade these 5 years for anything. And that's got to mean a lot to you.
He's the reason why you get into coaching, guys like him. In my 22 years of doing this, he's as good a teammate and as hard a worker as I've ever been around. He's an unbelievable ambassador for Towson University. He's going to be ultra successful in life. He's a great student. I'm really proud of how hard he's worked. We get him all the time. When we first got, he couldn't even do a pull-up. Now he puts on this big chain with a 45-pound weight around his neck and can do 15 of them. He's just a great teammate. The guys love him, and they'll respond for him.
You were a star in college.
It's a small college, so.
Well, one of the greatest point guards in Division III history.
Well, yeah, Division III, what are you going to do? No, that's tough level, yeah.
When you have to be, so you were a guy that played all the time. Yep. You weren't a guy that sat on the end of the bench. How tough is it for those guys? Because all they do is practice, practice, practice. Then the games come, the fun part, and they're not really involved.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I will say at this level, guys have full scholarships. So, you know, you got to deal with it. I think, though, what you learn through athletics, and in particular we'll talk about basketball, there's a lot of those skills that are going to carry over to the real world when you're fighting for a job with a company or moving up the corporate ladder or whatever you're trying to do, and have a home and buy houses and children, all that stuff. So that's where you look at a guy like, we use Jamel as an example, and you just know sometimes when you're coaching a guy like, this kid gets it. You know, no one has a bad word to say about him. He every day his energy level and his work ethic is through the roof. You know, and that's really why we wanted him to come back this year. And he has no problem telling, you know, it wasn't like because we thought he was going to get 10, 12 points a game. We just thought with his work ethic and having so many new guys, he would set the right example every day on the court, in the dorms, in the classroom, in the locker room, and he's done that and then some.
As you get down here now at the end of your 4th season here at Towson, and you have changed the culture, and it is guys like Jamel Flash and the guys before him who he learned from, like Damas and Benjamin and Burwell and those kinds of things. Do you see this now as this is long-term, this is now ingrained in the Towson basketball program, the work ethic?
You hope so. If not, it might not be for some of the guys. You know, I mean, we've got an expectation level. I think, you know, when you're going through some struggles, having so many new guys, the one thing you try to talk to you guys about is there's always change, and you're always being evaluated. And, you know, are we living up to standards? Are we doing what we're supposed to do? We talked to our guys the other day a lot about an article I'd read on Shaka Smart, who's I consider a pretty good friend, and he talked to his team a lot about, are you interested or are you committed? And, you know, it's the same thing we were talking to our guys about. You know, are they interested when things are going well? Are you really committed to doing what you're supposed to do all the time? And I like the group, you know, and it's an incredibly young group. What's going to have to happen now is guys have to take, you know, a big step forward because they've had a lot of game experience now. And we got to get rolling back to the way we're capable and used to getting rolling.
All right, we have to take one more final break. When we come back, we'll have more of the Tiger Basketball Report after this.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Right, sign that. Yeah!
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Woo!
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
Yeah, we're on vacation next month. My family churns through all sorts of data.
Well, now we have mobile share value plans with rollover data, so the data you don't use this month rolls over to the next.
Sounds great, but what's your angle?
I don't think I have any angles.
Hardball, huh? Look, if you want me in on this, I want a piece of the action.
Oh, well, you get the rollover data automatically, so you're already in on the action.
Deal.
You should negotiate more stuff. You're pretty good at it.
Now get 3 lines for $120 a month with rollover data to share.
Welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. Coach, game against Delaware on Saturday. Normally I try to say something to crack you up. I got nothing.
Well, in the words of James Brown, the godfather of soul, you ain't got to get ready if you stay ready.
As we have mentioned, the Tigers will be playing their final game of the season here in CQ Arena this Saturday at 2 p.m. against the Blue Hens of Delaware. The game is brought to you by Under Armour. Coverage starts at 1:45 with the Coors Light Countdown to tip-off, hosted by myself and the legendary Coach Vince Angotti on CBS Radio 1300 or online at TowsonTigers.com. Fans, this is Senior Day and the blackout game, so make sure you wear black. The first 2,000 fans in attendance get a free T-shirt. Tickets are available at 1-855-TU-TIGER or online at TowsonTigers.com. Make sure you also purchase your tickets for the CAA Championship Tournament in the Royal Farms Arena to cheer on your Tigers. They'll play Friday night at 6 o'clock. That's a week from Friday at 6 o'clock. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Tiger Basketball Report, and go Tigers.